Hello, lovely girl Jake. Welcome to another fantastic episode of the Nollywood Dealmakers show, brought to you from Inside Nollywood. And today, I will be talking to an amazing British actor and film producer, and that is Oris Erhuero. And of course, if you attended AFRIF this year in Lagos, Nigeria, you know that Oris was, present, and the movie he was in, Aura, was the opening movie actually. So this is really big. And today we'll be talking about the importance of collaboration amongst filmmakers around the world. Hello, Oris. Good to have you on the show.
Good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Totally. How is London today?
Well, I'm in Oslo. I moved to Oslo. I relocated
Okay.
to Oslo 4 months ago. So I'm now based in Oslo, but I actually just got back from London from another
Ah,
event. Yeah.
you're living the and enjoying the world.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you. So let's go straight into the conversation for today.
Sure.
In Nollywood movies recently, and it's an amazing thing. You in your early acting career, you were mostly like in Hollywood, but now you have been lately in Nollywood movies. Can you tell us a little bit about your early years as an actor?
My early years. Well, my dream growing up in Nigeria as a kid. It was either I was either gonna join the army because I went to military school in Nigeria as a kid, or and it was more me growing into politics that when I had moved to London at a younger age, I got into drama and politics and drama. Um, it's something that I have dabbled in through music. It was through hip hop. I wasn't quite sure. Drama was always there in the back. I always had straight A's in drama class and film studies actually. And then I would say um, 90, 94, I landed my first TV series, my first TV audition ever, which went on for a couple of years. It was an action series that was shooting in Cape Town, South Africa. So it was casted in LA on location in Cape Town, South Africa. Which was an amazing time for me and an amazing experience regarding my early acting career because I got to see a lot as a young man. I got to grow very early. I got to understand politics on another level because I just moved into a country to shoot a TV series where the president spent 27 years in jail, Nelson Mandela, and boom, became president. So that was great pride. That was great joy. And me being the only black on the series, I I I took it upon myself that I had a responsibility. Um, because there was also a lot of actors and actresses on the ground in South Africa who was proud. They got to see a TV series being brought into their country, giving them work. So I knew the importance of that. Not only giving them work, but a lot of the South African actors or any actors from around the world who were in South Africa also got to be a guest star on the TV series. And so for me, it was the beginning of that of understanding the business. So when you on a series, talking about my early career, the beautiful thing about being on a TV series, it's like a university. So you get to sometimes slide into meetings by accident where producers are having meetings for the next episodes, or sometimes you slide into certain doors where the writers are in the room. They're trying to figure out the script or figure out a storyline. Um, so it wasn't just about being in front of the camera. It was also sometimes watching the DP. So mind you, at that time it was an era where they were still using 35 millimeters, not digital. So there was a lot of analog involved. 35 millimeters. There was a moment where they shipped a can of film to LA, one of the episodes, and the episode got was missing. We had to on hiatus literally go back to reshoot another episode. So finding yourself going back and forth, remembering certain episodes it was an experience for me personally. It was a school itself. So I come from that, and then from that I went into films. Um, uh, Highlander. I went into a lot of these Hollywood high big budget productions, and the one that actually really took me back was took me back to '94, was the Sometimes in April with Raoul Peck. That was the director for Lumumba. Who you, so Sometimes in April was about the Rwanda genocide. So as we were talking about my early stage, right? So during '94, when Mandela became president, Rwanda had its own internal civil war where 1 million people were slaughtered in a month. Not knowing during that time, off work, watching what was going on, that I, many years forward, will be playing one of the characters that incited that whole war. So yeah, that's my early stage. That's my early stage before we move forward. So and regarding Nollywood, the beauty of working with Raoul Peck also opened the doors for Nollywood and other African countries to realize, wow, this guy, he's one of us. Oh my goodness, actually he's from Nigeria. Oh snap! So everything just came together. It was a good setup. It was a good plan for me because my dream is to, as an actor, and has always been, and I'm living that dream, is to work anywhere in the world where there's film, you got a story, I'm in. So yeah.
Okay, so talking about that, you are a Nigerian. I want you to tell us a little bit of background. Did you school in Nigeria? Were you ever in Nigeria? Or born
Yeah, yes,
in a
I was.
know that you are actually a Nigerian, the way you
Yes.
speak, the way you act, and everything. So tell us your history, your Nigerian history.
Yes. So at the age of 5, I came to Nigeria at the age of 5, where I lived. So I was in Lagos for the first 6 months. Then I went on to Benin at that time, which was Bendel State. This is before Delta. My parents are Urobo, so I'm half Urobo, half Ishekiri. We are from Ogara side, Sapele. Jerry, my father went to Ugele Government College. My uncles, all of them went to Ugele Government College. So my life in Nigeria at the age of 5 was from Benin, sometimes to Sapele to Ogara, Mosoga, all this Delta. Again, this is before the term Delta. So Bendel was our Lagos, Bendel was our UK, Bendel was everything. It was where everybody came in from Biasa. Everybody came in for the big work. Um, so I lived in Benin City from the age of 5 to 14, where I went to school. So it was St. Paul's, then later on Army Children's School, and then of course I was about to go to Immaculate Conception and those other school before I went back to London, where I was born, to continue my education. Then I moved to the States. So my time in Nigeria, my memories are very sharp with my upbringing in Nigeria. So you need to understand, I came in the year Muratala Muhammad was assassinated. So I grew up around during the military regime. Um, we're talking the village headmaster when thieves and criminals were being shot on Bar Beach every Saturday. This is how much memories I have of Nigeria. Go on. When what's his name came out from Mecca and his plane was surrounded. So I grew up around the heavy military political regime when Fela was doing 77, when he was doing Festac, when he had this. So for me, I grew up when in the creme de la creme of deep Nigeria. You know, I was born in '68, so that for anyone who's wondering, you gotta understand, we Nigerians, we're not age old. We they stay young for a long time. That's one that's one good thing I can say about being a Nigerian. I have a memory of an elephant. So me being born '68, coming into the country at that time, you understand the politics, you understand the world you've just come in from, you understand the stories of your parents, going through the Civil War, escaping, to meet loved ones. So, so that's my up, raw upbringing of Nigeria before the oil and all that stuff was discovered in Delta. You understand?
Now,
So I have been in and out of Nigeria since then. I've never forgot my route. I can pick up a key today and go home tomorrow, open a door, and walk into my grandfather's, my grandmother's house, my parents. That's me. For many people who don't know, because we need to understand there is a different. I am learning something, and when I just was talking to RMD the other day, and we were laughing because I understood all the old actors, Kule Afola's father, the Amata, all this. I grew up in that generation where Nigerian filmmakers were using 35 millimeter. This is before VHS. I think
Wow.
that's very, very important to know. There was a lot of uh, uh, big Nigerian filmmakers, good theater shows. At that time, Village Headmaster was one of the hottest TV show.
So we,
Any child who watched that show at that time, you wanted to become an actor because those guys were on top of their game. They studied in Europe, they came home, like we do, like some of us are doing now. They came back. Some of these
yeah,
guys studied in America. They studied theater. They studied film in London. Music college. They all went to school, just like Fela Kuti. All these people, they studied hard. They knew their stuff. Some of them were musicians, and they came home just like me to
yeah,
contribute to the arts.
yeah.
Let's put that there.
Wow.
Let that season for a minute. Let
When
that
you say
season in everybody's spirit for a
I
minute.
was thinking,
I'm not being Johnny just come on. I'm sorry.
wow, that's amazing. Learning a
Eh, oh,
you know, nobody food with your accent,
yeah.
thinking, oh, he's an American. That's fantastic. So, the Africa, there was a lot. As a matter of fact, the team is Indigenous 2.0, which means
Yes.
that Indigenous is getting the attention that it deserves
Mm,
right now. So, tell us a little bit about how you think that we should push our story. What do you think about us pushing our story, the real African stories, not the
yes.
adulterated ones that are being told by other people, but
Mm.
we ourselves telling our stories the exact way that our stories are. Tell us a little bit about what you think.
I think it's very, very, very imperative that we do that. Um, the death of the king's horseman, thanks to Ebony Life for really going there, for really going there. Um, what for me was a start, to hear our indigenous language. Um, I think we need to do more of that. We need to, if we're going to tell stories, whether it's in broken English, whether it's in Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, Bini, you know, listen, Goyo, you name it, whatever, wherever we want to go. I think it's very imperative that we tell our stories because me, inside and outside of Nigeria, of Africa as a whole, I know what people want to hear. I hear it on the street. Our stories are loved, and the people on the street, in and around the world, from to Jamaica to Cuba to South America to Asia to Korea, they want to hear our stories. They want to know what's up. They don't need us telling stories that's told somewhere else by other people in that place. They want to know about Nigeria. We're winning. Right now, we are winning. But where we can win more is to tell our own indigenous story, in house, outside, stories of us also struggling in Europe with the culture and going back and forth. Do you understand where I'm coming from? And also stories, native stories, great stories. We have stories. We have stories that go on to down to our gods. These things are very, very important, and we have no excuse. And that's one of the most encouraging thing about being in Africa this year. We have so many tools now to tell these stories. You know what I mean? Let people want to know, and they want to know our food. They want to see or say certain lingos, certain things. You know, like the scene where in Aura, and I didn't see this coming. The director was insisted on two lines, and I remember fighting with Lonzo. I said, "Why is it imperative I say that line?" He said, "You will see. Trust me." And one of them was, "Welcome to Lagos." Every white, every foreigner that was in that crowd, the people, they understood that term, "Welcome to Lagos." And he looked at me, he said, "Do you see? You and I know how famous around the world Lagos is. You and I hear these people talk about Lagos when they land in Lagos. That heat, that smell, that whoo, that beer, that everything." And I said, "You're right." He says, then he went like this. He says, "We can do all the drama, but we need to do those. It's very imperative that these things are recognized. And if we can do it through our film, we're in." Then the other line was, "Oga, how was your flight?" And that is normal, right? When you land in Lagos, when that when that immigration officer, that police officer say, "Hey, Oga, madam, how was your flight?" You know what that means, right? So it's just these little sayings, these little things that will and the reason it's important is because we get to sell our culture
Exactly.
ourselves, not no one else in America or yeah there that's never been to Africa, that has no connection with Africa, telling me about Lagos.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand, right? You don't tell me about Lagos. I'll tell you about Lagos. How if I land at 5:45 a.m. in the morning, ooh, I got a good 2 hours possibly to go home, sleep, get ready by 9 a.m. to business or to go out and enjoy myself. But if I land late, it's going to take me 3, 4 hours to get from the Lagos to the island. Do you? If then if I have to catch another plane, heaven forbid, to Bendel, to Imo, to Enugu, to Kano, God forbid, and that flight will be missed. So I need to book. So it's just those little, but that's what
Feel
makes
like
us, you know.
that's the
So
it's all
yeah, it's go ahead, yeah. So
absolutely
yeah, so it's important. But the moral of the moral of the story is I realize how badly and how imperative we must not be shy to tell it as it is. It's okay to tell it as it is because that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it fun. They're very lucky. They didn't see me eating a bar or bottle of soup there, that movie, and having dialogue, just sitting there. They are very lucky. But these people want to see this, like, what is that? What is he eating? Oh my God. And that's how we sell our culture. I don't want to sell. I don't want to be part of a culture that's going to sell something that's already bought and sold in other cultures. That's not mine. I don't know that. I don't understand. I want to sell that culture where I'm sitting in the bus and a guy on top of the bus has got his goat just wrapped around he's got this one goat that he's gonna take for a wedding to go and put down as a dowry to marry someone. That's what I want to be part of. So yeah, that's how, back to your question, it is very important that we share that culture before somebody else takes it and go and put it there in another movie. And you know what? It won't be nice. So I'm part of that generation, that indigenous generation that's like, yo, yeah, I've done the love stories, but now it's time to do Welcome to Lagos. Ah, oh
welcome.
God, how was your flight? It's time. You understand where I'm coming from? So yeah.
I I agree. This is the time you put ourselves out there. And the truth is, the world has been waiting for this time. We just didn't realize because people love indigenous. People want to see that realness. Like you said, if somebody else that is a Nigerian or a typical Lagosian wants to depict our story, they're not going to tell it the way we tell it. They don't know the hassles of being in Lagos. You're in a bus, and like you said, someone is carrying a goat. You might be going for
Yeah.
an event and start
Huh?
smelling like a goat to your event
Huh?
just because you took a public transport.
Ah, I was shooting in Lagos a while back, and my father happened to be in Lagos. Outside Lagos. He says, "Where are you, son?" I said, I'm in town." I said, "Daddy, you want me to send you a car?" He said, "What?" He says, son, this is Nigeria. I go enter boss. He went from being English to he said I go enter. I said, Daddy, you're almost 80, man. He goes, son, please, you forget where you come from. He just hanged up the phone. 2 hours later, the guy I met him downstairs at the hotel, coming out of a bus with all of these people. Some people even have sultana. Everybody, what alaji. Everybody, I just stood there. Soldier, my security just stood there. I went, the boss was, they were all nervous. So I looked at the security. I said, oh God, I think these people that I bet Mickey don't make that nervous. Can you back up a bit? So my dad came down. He just went and he said, he looked around and said, let's go. But
Let's go.
that's Nigeria. That's Nigeria.
The rugged.
That when I think of that moment, I said, man, this man he's an 80-year-old man. He just got on the bus. He just through Balogo Market and all the just I was embarrassed. I'm the young guy. I was
Mhm.
embarrassed. I'm like, damn, Pop. And don't get it twisted. He lives in London too. But when he goes home, he knows how to adapt. I said, Dad, you know, I said, forget driver. I don't have time. We even entered those motorbike that just
Yeah,
hold the guy. And that is me personally. That's Nigeria. I don't,
absolutely. Those are the
you
real,
know,
those are the real things, and they
yeah,
should be featured in our movies as well.
yeah,
And that's what the world has been waiting for, and we have a market for it. Absolutely.
yes.
So, tell us, describe the growth in the Nigerian movie industry. You have seen, the early years of movie making in Nigeria, like you said. Even some of those movies you mentioned, I'm sure I wasn't born at the time. But you have seen the Nigerian movie industry grow from one point to another, to another, to another. And then now we can tell our stories better with better equipment and better scripts and all that. How would you describe the growth in Nollywood in the past 20 years and now?
The growth has been immensely just on point. I'm I'm listen. I'm a I'm an African patriot, just like an America is with their flag. I fly the Nigerian flag all day. I'm nuts about my culture, um, and I'm hard on my culture. I will, there's some directors they scared of me. They will not play with me because I when they talk to me, they say Oris, I have you, because I know what we're capable of. We are the smartest people on the planet. We are the highest PhD holders, first of all, on the planet. It's a fact. I work with analytics all day long. When it comes to tech, our people are behind it. A lot of the young ones, I know them personally. So I know what's going on before it even happens. So when it comes to filmmaking, we have we've broken through because I've seen it from 35 millimeter where they're putting a film in a dark can, they're pulling it. I've been around it and I've seen that growth from both sides of the Atlantic Ocean. But Africans, you give the kid the right camera, you give the kid those. I mean, I got toys like endless toys. My kid, I got kids. I got 21-year-old down, and I see the way they spinning it. I've personally bought camera stuff for kids in Ghana by default because I saw the potential. And they went on to be one of the best photographers out of Africa and got an award-winning, you know, uh, uh, homage in Europe. And these are African kids, so I know what the younger generation I'm talking to on that level. And these are kids who don't need that much to make a good film. So personally, I've seen the film industry grown. Um, we just got to take care. We just got to fine tune the business aspect of it, so the money can generate nicely, so people can, when they leave this world, their kids see that wealth generating. We got to fix that part, and it's not just Nigeria. It, Africa's got to deal with that. We need to we need to deal with that part. So I think film wise we are there. We've been there. We've been there. We're just so we could go. I would tell you right now. I know 10 directors out of Nigeria right now who can go toe to toe with the top Oscar award winning directors, and I could give you 20 Nigerian writers right now who would just literally rip them apart toe to toe. And here's the funny thing: none of them are with any of the big agents. But here's the funny thing: they don't need them because where we're going right now, there's a younger generation who are working hard. Give it a year or two, working hard on having our own mega platform that would incorporate this thing that I'm explaining to you, because it's very, 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 very important. Everybody in Africa has a cell phone. They could watch a film. They could watch any Nollywood film. They could watch anything anywhere in the world. Let's not get it twisted. So we are up there, but we just need to fine tune the business side of it. We need more um, people to focus on the business side of it and not look at this this thing that we are doing as it's just it's just great Instagram. No, it's not just on Instagram. It's not just on Facebook. This is the same as what everybody else is watching in the West. Now, make sure you're taking care of this filmmaker, because this filmmaker's got family. They got to eat. As we sit here right now, I'm still getting checks from a lot of my work from 94, 95 when I first started. I'm still getting residual checks. So for me personally, it would be nice. It would be nice that we come to that place, because then it doesn't look like a part-time thing. Because I find a lot of our filmmakers, some of it is like a part-time thing. It's just a part-time thing. And so when it comes to these incredible Afri roundtable discussion, what I'm seeing is like, wow, are you guys really serious about this? Because for me, this is a business. This is how I fed my family. There's no part time for me. There's no plan B. There's no plan C. We need to talk. You understand? That's my only thing, and that has nothing to do with the filmmakers, because we're doing it, and it's not just Nigeria. I see it in also in South America. I see it in Belize. I see it. We need to take it serious. This is a career. This is big. This is huge, and where the world is going, we're not going to be able to do without watching a great content. It's important. It's medicine. It's therapy. You and I know many people, even in the corporate world, they have a screen on one side and they're watching a Nollywood film or an Indian film. Yeah, I have to say it's nice. It's a toss up as Nollywood and Bollywood films now. So they just sit there and they're typing away. They're working. They're on the Zoom. They're watching. These are bankers. These are investment bankers, and they're just watching films, typing, talking to Tokyo, and then watching. They go back. I know that for a fact, because these are the people that I see on the train around the world who say, I, "You, I've seen you." This is a Chinese man.
Yeah, random people.
Yeah, say, I you you do Nollywood movie. You do some oh, Roto yesterday. Roto yesterday. Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta go. And I'm sitting there going, I'm almost in tears, because I'm like, damn, I don't know you. You're Japanese, and you see my film, and I just have to hold it in, and arigato, arigato, and we take pictures, and they like, and I'm like, and I'm getting goosebumps. And you Sunday fair, you love two women. Ayaga, oh, and I'm like, ouch, ouch. And and I'm married to an outsider. My wife's from she's Northern Europe. She's from the Nordics. They know, they know. I see. So we are we're Gucci, as they say in America. We're Gucci.
Good,
Nigeria.
growing. We just look into the financial part of it, the business part of
Yes.
making, so that actors can actually live the life that they deserve, because actors and filmmakers are making impacts around the world. Impact, massive impact. Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, so I saw a movie recently that you did. I think it's Sunday Affair. Can you tell us a little bit about Sunday Affair?
Mm. Sunday
And what
Fair was. Thanks to Mo, Budu, and everybody at Ebony Life. Those women, and I have to say, guys, the women, the Nigerian women producers and filmmakers, they they get it. They get it. Back in the 60s and the 70s, our elders, the males, they had it on lock. I think I'm having more conversations with Nigerian female producers, writers, and filmmakers than I've ever had in a very long time. I love you all. They get it. And that's where Sunday Affair was born from. Now, I just talked about, the death of the King's Horsemen. That's Ebony Life, women driven, right? Blood Sisters, Uluturu. Look at that, right? We keep going, right? You see where I'm going with this. Watch the way it's just, then boom, a Sunday Affair. Then boom, you see the stuff they're coming out with. Talk about talk about selling our culture the right way as it should be sold. A Sunday Affair showed one of the things I liked about a Sunday Affair. It showed Lagos, and everything was shot in Lagos. It showed Lagos on a whole different light. And yes, for those people who were asking me, was that train real? Yes, it is real. That is in Lagos. Yeah, let's be clear. We didn't go to some other country, to shoot a piece. That no, everything was shot in Lagos. We utilized the environment, and I would like to give an homage to Ebony Life, the crew, the cast, the director, for really fighting for that. Those wonderful, incredible locations, right? And I'm banging on this simply because um, I heard a couple of people said, man, it'd be nice to see y'all shoot more than a mud hut and women in rapper. Well, guess what? You got to see women wearing the pants, running a business. You know what I mean? And that to me was one of the most beautiful thing I loved about it. It was liberating to see women um, on top, if that makes any sense. There was a scene with Dakota where Dakota was running that. She threw me down. She's like, nah, get down, bow down, son. So my point is, it's just a Sunday Affair to me was more a showing the side of Nigeria and the side of Africa a lot of people don't see, that our women, they also run things, not just Beyonce. Let me get you that. So it was that type of. That's how I looked at it. It was just like, yeah, these are women. They're not sitting here licking their wounds. They're just getting along with it. So that's the, thanks to the likes of Moa Budu and many more like her, who are really putting their footprint in the game. So that's a Sunday Affair in a nutshell for me. It was more than this guy in love with two women. I personally saw, uh, I saw the future. So it is the future. A Sunday Affair is the future.
All right, so it's almost time for us to get to the end of the interview. So I want you to talk about the importance of collaboration amongst filmmakers. We're going to have to end with that because that's the
Yes.
topic of today's show.
Yeah. Yes. I think the collaboration is very, very important. We have more access now to link up. We need to dialogue. I'm doing it. I have a lot of dialogues. It shouldn't be about trying to raise money. It should be about how we keep it on the same parallel level as the leading industry, Hollywood. That should be the dialogue. And the way to do that is Nigerian filmmakers, writers, they need to collaborate with diasporans outside. And we work together, we come together, and we share paperwork. Forget raising money, because the way to raise money, that's gone. You can't raise money like that anymore. That's old school. It's about communication. It's about getting to know each other. It's about trusting each other, and it's about the willingness to listen. You gotta understand. There's a lot of likes like me who I know who doesn't even want to come back home to make movies. They don't care. They're happy with the dollars. I could give you names. I could call them out right now. They don't care. They want to know. But there are likes of us who care from the heart. We got kids. We want them to eventually go home and say, "Man, this is where I come from." But there are some right now who would not be bothered to do the work. So it's about we willing to do the work. Money is easy. We could all make money. Forget the money. We just need to communicate. We need to work together as a team, source out those that's been around the game, and not necessarily the Tom Cruises, but those that are, like us who work. That coalition isn't very important, and that's what made Aura work. Because everyone in Aura were diasporans and Nigerians. We came together, we merged, we talked, we discussed, we married, we listened to each other, and we executed. We need that standard. That's why Aura was the opening film, because it executed what could happen when we come together, and that it needs to start there. Dialogue, and it take a while. You don't go on a date and try to go, whoo, let's kiss, let's get married on a date. That person would run, and that still works with film. So you don't go on a date with a diaspora, and a diaspora does not go on a date with an indigenous Nigerian and try to. It will cause friction, and people will freak out. Say, "Oh God, you did give me a headache." But we have to come together, take our time, and really communicate. Say, so how do you people do over there? This is what we do. Oh wow. So okay. So what if we can get these people? Can we bring him? Then we all work together and extend it to that level. Yes, we can. Aha. That's how you got. That system is very important. It's very key, and we have no excuse now to do that type of that to have that way of to approach such a conversation. Text, WhatsApp, we have it now. Look, here we are. I'm communicating with you. It's the world is changing, and we have to adapt it. So it's adapted with technology, and be willing to sometimes you may even want to have a conversation with someone you are probably afraid of, but that person you're afraid of to approach is probably the person you need to be talking to. Don't so and I think it's just we shouldn't be afraid. We're Africans. We're on, we shouldn't be afraid. I mean, God. So I think it's also fear. Think it's also we need encouragement. And I think sometimes people think some things are just too um it's just too difficult. It's not really difficult. It's not that difficult. If you don't say hello and the other person doesn't respond back, you're not gonna get an answer. It starts with good morning. Hey, how are you, man? Yeah. So it's dialogue, not the money. Dialogue. You go straight for the money, they will run. You get
Absolutely.
frustrated. So let's
You,
start with getting to know
Oris,
each other.
absolutely. Collaboration is very important among filmmakers. We must get to know each other. We must come together. You don't do it by force. You do it by, talking to people, syncing with people, rubbing ideas, rubbing minds, exchanging thoughts. That's just how it's going to be. All right, so we've come to the end of today's show. I've been talking to the fantastic, fantastic British and Nigerian actor, film producer, Oris. And before you go, tell us the final advice you would give to somebody that is an upcoming actor and filmmaker. What would you say to them to keep them in the game and to keep them inspired?
You have a vision. First of all, the fact that you wake up every day is a sign that you are supposed to be here, and this vision that you have in your head must be executed at all costs. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You start the day with your prayers, and after that, write down exactly what it is you want and go after it. But the key is also be willing to have that dialogue or that conversation. We have social media now. We can easily just text each other. And sooner or later, they will go through their Instagram, IG. They will see the message and then they will reach out. Communication is the key. If you are stuck and you're just starting out, be willing sometimes to work with the top in your environment. If you are a great cameraman, you have the potential for it, be willing to offer your services. Say any movie operator in the area, say I would like to support your DP, or I would like to support your the director, I would like to be an AD. Offer your services and don't ask for anything. I had to, behind closed doors, did a lot of training, a lot of free stuff sometimes to take my days off just to be around certain things, and I was taking notes. So even now at this moment as I speak, I could easily give a master class for free because I know every chronic, every aspect. And the way to that is be willing to open yourself beyond just one thing. So yes, you want to be a director, but also know what it's like to be an actor, a writer, fill those other spaces, and sometimes volunteer your time, even if it's an hour on a set, just sitting there watching, taking notes. Um, it's the key, and because the closer you are to these things, whatever your desire is would manifest. It has no choice but to manifest. So yeah, that's the one advice I can really give, and that's something I've lived. So I could only give you what I have. I can't sit here and pull advice out of the sky. These things I say, and most people that know me will tell you, yeah, I did that myself personally. So yeah.
So much. Thank you guys for joining us on the Dealmaker Show today, and I'm sure that you have learned one or two. Remember to always join us weekly on Inside Nollywood as we bring you fantastic programs. We have the X Space Show on Twitter, and we have the Inside Nollywood Conversations on Fridays. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Always say bye bye to our listeners and watchers.
Thank you very much, everybody. JK, thank you so much. I really appreciate you bringing me on, and